Hey guys, as you can see here, this is a collection of all of the NHL's 31 Adidas made home jerseys that were unveiled a little bit north of 2 years ago now, back in 2017, when the National Hockey League not only transitioned away from Reebok making their jerseys to Adidas, who have been making the NHL's jerseys ever since, because today is Christmas Eve 2019. But the other thing too is that when these uniforms were all unveiled, this meant this meant that this was the debut for the Golden Knights, the Vegas Golden Knights jerseys to be unveiled also. So obviously, when I did the series originally sharing my thoughts on all of the new Adidas-made uniforms for the NHL's 31, soon-to-be 32 teams, I made that series, and I made a series sharing my thoughts on all of the different teams' uniforms made by Adidas. And now, I know it's really late to the party, but I'm going to be doing a final thoughts video series where I will do some final thoughts on all 31 teams' home and away uniforms that were unveiled for the 2017-18 season. So when I initially did this series to share my first thoughts on the uniforms, I started with, I believe, the Metropolitan Division, and I made it all the way to I worked my way to the Pacific Division. So now that I've had that series done for a long time, I'm now going to start my final thoughts series here with this video. And where I finished off with the Pacific Division last time, I will be starting with the Pacific Division this time. So I finished with the Pacific last time. Now I'm going to start with the Pacific Division. So just bear with me for a moment, and we will go into, well, I will quickly, since this is the first video of a 4-part video series, let's start by talking about the Adidas uniform as a whole. So when Adidas came in, all the shoulder yokes across the NHL for all the teams' jerseys, regardless of their design, all of the uniforms now come with dimpled, perforated shoulder yokes. Some teams even have perforated numbers, such as the Edmonton Oilers and the Columbus Blue Jackets, and everybody has now got one of these big, fat, ugly collars. Some have been done a lot better than others. Look at teams such as the New Jersey Devils, the Edmonton Oilers, and the St. Louis Blues. And there are teams like Pittsburgh here who unfortunately have one of these half-finished toiler seat collars. Now, thankfully, after having the worst collar design, arguably the worst collar design out of all of the 31 teams in the NHL, the Chicago Blackhawks have finally fixed their collars to at least make them a little bit more tolerable in the Adidas Adizero era, where instead of having a big round white collar on their home jersey with a red insert and a red collar with a great big white insert on the away jersey, now it's a half-finished collar design like this. But my point is that they are the first team to actually make an official change to their collar. Now, I understand that the Vancouver Canucks have updated their uniforms for this season as well, the 2019-2020 season as I'm filming this, but they never made a tweak to the collars of their home and away jersey designs. All they did was they removed the Vancouver script above the Orca, and they went with a new white stick and ring shoulder patch for, believe it or not, both jerseys, and I will talk about that and the Vancouver Canucks later on. So, without further ado, let's start with the Anaheim Ducks, and I will work my way down to the Vegas Golden Knights, and then that'll be the end of this part 1 of this 4-part series of me sharing my final thoughts on all of the 2017-18 NHL jerseys. So, let's start with the Ducks. In my opinion, the old V-neck Reebok edge collar was far superior to this new Adidas collar that both of these jerseys are stuck with now, and all the teams are stuck with now for that matter. But I feel that the Adidas collar has made these jerseys even a bit worse. truth is, in terms of the Ducks away jersey, there's always been something about it that I've never minded. I've never actually minded this jersey. In fact, for the most part, I've always found this jersey for a modern design to actually be not too bad. But I do agree with people that it's time for the Ducks to go away from these uniforms. I mean, first off, in my opinion, are these an improvement over the Anaheim Ducks wordmark jerseys that they had up until, I believe, the end of the 2012-13 season, or even the 2013-14 season, if I remember correctly? In my opinion, yes. These are better than the wordmark jerseys that the Ducks had for about 7 or 8 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. And these are, in my opinion, better, but they're still not great. And the worst jersey by far, in my opinion, is the home jersey. I mean, they still continue to have it with the phantom shoulder yoke and all of these side panel stripes. It's not a good look, in my opinion. And in my personal opinion, it's never looked good. This Adidas collar, in my opinion, only makes it worse. At least before, with the pair of mock tie laces that they had on their Reebok Edge jerseys, I thought that was a really good look for the Ducks uniforms because it was a modern collar design for a modern looking jersey. And the V-neck collars were a lot better, and they really helped these jerseys out too, in my opinion, especially the away jersey. But notice the 3 sets of laces there. I gotta be honest, I've been annoyed with Adidas ever since they brought in this mock tie lacing for the 2017-18 season, because Adidas is famously known for their 3 stripes branding. Well, if those 3 stripes there or 3 pieces of lacing don't represent 3 stripes, I don't know what does. To me, I see it as a subtle advertisement, and I've never liked it. And this big white collar insert on here on this jersey is especially bad. I mean, at least they kept the collar kind of consistent. The black insert does blend into the jersey a lot better than the white one on the away jersey, that's for sure. They should have kept that one black as well. But even though I've never minded the away jersey that you can see here, the home jersey has always been a problem for me. And now that the Ducks have brought back their orange Mighty Ducks inspired 3rd jersey again for the 2019-2020 season, I would not be the least bit surprised if the Ducks ended up eventually switching to that jersey with a matching away jersey to match it full time at some point, because it's a much better looking jersey. Now, I know not everyone loves it, and truth is, there's things about it that I think could certainly be improved on. I'm not a big fan of the amount of gold that's on their 3rd jersey, to be quite honest, but if I were to make a design based off of their current jerseys, I would definitely go with their 3rd jersey with a matching away over what they've got right now. That's for darn sure. But anyways, I just hope that the Ducks are going to eventually phase these jerseys out, because I think it's time for them to make a change. Now, moving on to Arizona. This is actually a team that, in my opinion, actually got a small upgrade by transitioning to the Addy Zero uniforms. And for me, what I like about Arizona's jersey is that it's the back half of the collar is now black. But I really do wish that they would have just made the entire collar black. And I could do without the lacing, actually, if it was just a plain black collar, to be honest. So, in my opinion, this is a design that I'm glad that Arizona kept. For a half-finished looking jersey, in terms of not having any waist striping, I have always liked this particular jersey for the Coyotes. I like how there's a bit of black on the jersey. I find that this one is much better than what it replaced. I like that the Arizona Coyotes have some significant amounts of black on the jersey itself. I find that it really works well with the brick red and white. But something I've never cared for is this half-finished look for the body of the jersey. There's no waist striping. And, I was actually really hoping to see Arizona bring back the Kachina striping. And I think that if they added some Kachina striping around the waist of this jersey, that it would actually suit the jersey really well. And it would be an addition to the uniform that I think would actually be a huge improvement. But overall, this is still a pretty decent jersey in my opinion. It's not my favorite jersey in the world, but I must say, when I see it on the ice, I definitely don't mind it. And it certainly could be better in my opinion, but it's not the worst in the world. But I do wish that they would at least put some goddamn waist striping on this jersey. And imagine if it had some Kachina striping around the waist of it. I think that would make this jersey actually really quite nice. But overall, even though it doesn't have waist striping, I really like the unique hue of brick red that the Coyotes have. And this jersey's actually not too bad. It could be better, but this is definitely better than than the home and away jersey set that this and its away counterpart have replaced. Now, speaking of the away jersey, I'm really annoyed about this on the arms. This brick red area should be where the white is, in my opinion, to make a perfect match to the home jersey. See, notice how on the cuffs of the arms, it's white. The Coyotes carried the arms from their home jersey perfectly intact to their away jersey. Sorry, I don't like that. They should make this part, this brick red, white, and this white part on the arms, brick red. That, to me, is a fix that the Coyotes should do. Now, once again, this jersey, I'm not a fan of the fact that it's lacking in waist striping. Now, you can argue that this is waist striping, but in my opinion, it's not. I call it waist trim. I mean, it's just a little bit of color at the bottom of the jersey. That's it. It's not enough to me to count as waist striping. Now, another thing I don't care for is the collar here as well. They should have at least made the collar insert brick red. But another thing, though, I don't like how the front half of the collar is red and the back half is black. I think it should be a solid brick red collar with black piping and a brick red collar insert. That would make this jersey a lot better. Now imagine if they put the brick red where the white is on the sleeve, on the cuffs of the arms, and put Kachina waist striping on this jersey. To me, those are a few fixes that could actually make this an even better jersey than what it is. And is this jersey totally terrible in my opinion? No. But I feel it's kind of half finished. And not just because of the lack of waist striping. I feel that this was a mistake that they should have easily fixed by now, in my opinion. And I feel it is a mistake. I actually believe that if they flipped the brick red for the white on the cuffs of the arms, that this jersey would receive a major improvement. That's some waist striping and a solid brick red collar with a red collar insert. I mean, the home jersey, it works really well. The brick red, the white and black accents on it go together really well. But then when you see the brick red stuck here, I've never been a fan of this. But overall, I mean, one thing about the Coyotes is that at least they improved on from their last uniforms. These, in my opinion, could certainly be better. But you know what? I do like the home jersey. I don't love it, but I do like it. And I like how there's black on this part of the jersey here. And I like that the numbers are on that block of black. And overall, this jersey here especially is a few tweaks away, in my opinion, from being a really good jersey. This one here would need a little bit more work, but I actually believe that if they did those tweaks that I'm mentioning here, that these could be really, really good uniforms. Now, moving on to Calgary. I still cannot understand why the Calgary Flames have elected to continue wearing these Reebok Edge era garbage uniforms. And now the saddest thing for me is that they still have elected to keep those Alberta and Canadian flags on the shoulders of their jerseys. That is the biggest head scratcher for me. Now, don't get me wrong. Have they improved these jerseys since they transitioned from Reebok to Adidas? Yes. Number one, the removal of the vertical piping is great. And number two, I like how the numbers and names on the back of the jerseys are no longer italicized. Those are improvements, but these jerseys still have the side panels, and they still look like they belong right in the class of the 2007-2008 season Reebok Edge Disaster uniforms. I mean, Am I a fan of everything Adidas has done? If you watch my videos regularly, you will know that I'm not a big lover of Adidas overall. But I will say this though, I definitely feel that it's been easier for the most part seeing the NHL go from Reebok to Adidas than it was seeing the NHL go from pre-Edge to Edge. There were a lot of downgrades in the uniform department, but I will say this about Reebok though. Even when the uniforms were really bad after the Reebokalypse for the 07-08 season, at least the collars looked really good. The collars now in the Adidas era suck. These look like toilet seat collars as far as I'm concerned, and that's not a compliment. This back part here looks like you could attach a hoodie to it, and it's more like a sports hoodie with that collar design, at least in my opinion. I know not everyone's going to agree. But you know, one of the biggest piss off for me is the lack of decision making in terms, or lack of dealing with those shoulder patches. I think that's a stupid choice to leave them. They could have even taken their old cowboy shirt third jersey shoulder patch and put that on the shoulders of this, or these jerseys, and I think everybody and their dog would agree that that would have been an improvement by itself. Now let's look at some more in terms of changes made. You see the lace-up collar here. The Reebok collars are far superior in every way to the Adizero collars, in my opinion. The Coyotes jerseys, in my opinion, are a special exception because, in my opinion, the collar of the home jersey was significantly improved. The away jersey with the front half of the collar being brick red, I still prefer the Reebok Edge simple brick red V-neck collar that they had in the final years of Reebok, but anyway. Overall, though, the Adidas collars are a real fail, in my opinion. But now let's look at the name and number fonts. They're no longer italicized. And as far as I'm concerned, this by itself was a major improvement. Now, here's a better look at the name and number kit now that they're no longer italicized. Much better. The jerseys are still mediocre, and I hate those stupid side panels, but I think we can all agree that the Flames did actually improve their jerseys when they switched over to Adidas, which is good. So you see this third jersey here, their old third jersey. Now, you know, was it my favorite jersey in the world? No, and I hated that the striping was cut off under the arms. I don't think everybody knows that, but I'm not sure how many people actually knew that that striping was cut off. I didn't know that until about a couple of years ago, to be honest. But I got to say this, though. One thing about these jerseys, which for a third jersey, they were okay. They were something different. And the cowboy shirt shoulder yoke idea was really quite clever and fitting for Calgary. But the one thing about this jersey that they should have carried over to Adidas was that stinking shoulder patch. And you know what, guys? Why don't I take the time right here and right now to give you a chance to see the shoulder patch if you've never seen it before, just in case. I just want to quickly take a look at it here and show it to you guys because in my personal opinion, they should have put this on the shoulders of their updated home and away jerseys for the 2017-2018 season. So, this is the logo that I'm referring to right here. Why in the hell did the Flames not put this on the shoulders of their current jerseys when they switched to Adidas? It is so stupid, in my opinion. It's a head scratcher. I mean, truth is, I've been hearing since the Flames decided to bring out their retro jerseys for the playoffs last season that with them bringing back their 80s white jersey for the Heritage Classic earlier this season back in, I believe, October or early November. I can't remember when it happened, but my apologies on that. But now that the Flames have got both of their 80s throwback uniforms in their rotation this year and in the Adidas Adizero jersey cut on top of that, I've been hearing some pretty good rumors that the Flames are likely going full-time retro after this season anyway. But still, if you think about it, and let's go back to these right here. 2017-18 season with these. We're stuck with them. 2018-19 season and the 2019-2020 season, which is this current season as I'm filming this because it is Christmas Eve 2019. And Merry Christmas, by the way. But my point is that if they're still going to wear these for 3 whole seasons in the Adidas era before going full-time retro, they could have at least put on better shoulder patches, don't you think? I mean, I sure as hell think they should have. But anyways, this is a look at the italicized name and numbers font from the Reebok era, and I certainly don't miss that vertical piping. At least the Flames have made some positive changes to their home and away jerseys, even though I think they still suck. But I'll take some change over nothing at all. And by the way, this is the jersey that they brought back for the Heritage Classic. This jersey is gorgeous. I am, honestly, folks, I'm 99% sure the Flames are going full-time retro after this season. These jerseys are far too beautiful for them not to, at least in my biased opinion. And this is one more look at their old third jersey. So notice how the name and number font is not italicized. This is basically, for the most part, the font that the Flames went with when they switched over to Adidas. So I must say, it looks a hell of a lot better without the italics. And they had those italics for over 20 years, if I remember correctly. That's just too damn long. And here's a look at the away jersey number and letter font. As far as I'm concerned, it's much better. Now, speaking of Alberta teams, let's move on to the Edmonton Oilers. I've been annoyed with these guys since they went to orange and navy blue full-time. So notice the name font is in white with navy trim to make it more legible for announcers. This is a decision that I think was a good one, and the navy blue numbers on the orange. So, in my opinion, is this a good, simple, traditional jersey design? Yes. But in this case, was it the right choice? In my opinion, hell no. I can't believe the Edmonton Oilers have not only switched to orange full-time, but they went back to navy blue. I thought the navy blue days were over. But no. So, here's the story about the Edmonton Oilers. They decided to go full-time orange when they switched over to Adidas because of the fact that the orange jerseys were supposedly very popular in Edmonton. And they also wanted to use the orange jerseys to mark the beginning of the McDavid era in Edmonton. Well, folks, I'm going to give you the real reason why the Edmonton Oilers orange jerseys were very popular. So, why don't I take a moment to show you a picture of the Oilers' orange third jersey, which was actually a WHA Alberta Oilers throwback jersey that the Edmonton Oilers brought in for the 2015-16 season to celebrate the final season at Rexall Place before the 2016-17 season, where that was the first season that the Oilers played in Rogers Place, which is the name of their brand spanking new arena in Edmonton. So look at this orange jersey here. All right, so here's the truth. The reason this jersey was popular is, number one, in the 21st century, Oilers fans have never seen an orange jersey for their team, the Edmonton Oilers, that they've ever worn in the 21st century, let alone as a third jersey. So when the Oilers brought out a third jersey that was something new, that definitely excited a lot of fans, I'm sure. In fact, I was ecstatic when I saw this jersey when it was announced as a new third jersey for the Edmonton Oilers. Number two, this was actually a very short-lived jersey in the World Hockey Association because I believe at the time, Alberta Oilers, and when they first joined, when this franchise first started out as a World Hockey Association franchise, before they joined the National Hockey League in, I believe, 1979, correct me if I'm wrong, for the first season, I believe, when they joined the World Hockey Association, when it first launched in, I believe, 1972, this team was not called the Edmonton Oilers. They were actually called the Alberta Oilers. And for their first season or two of existence, they wore this orange jersey and a white counterpart with an orange shoulder yoke. Then they rebranded as the Edmonton Oilers, and then they joined the NHL in, I believe, 1979, and they've been an NHL franchise ever since. So not only was this a new color for a third jersey in Edmonton, but number 2, this was a special WHA throwback that the Oilers brought out because they were celebrating their final year at their old arena. And number 3, I don't know about you viewers out there, but I have always felt that this is an absolutely gorgeous jersey. Those are the 3 reasons why this jersey was popular, as far as I'm concerned. Number 1, it was a color that fans in the 21st century had never seen the Edmonton Oilers ever wear before, and they certainly never wore it as an NHL franchise until the 2015-16 season. Number 2, this was a throwback to the Alberta Oilers era that this franchise had when they first started out in the World Hockey Association. This was a throwback to the Alberta Oilers' first jersey. This was their first jersey design back in, I believe, 1972 or 71. And on top of that, how can you not agree that this is a gorgeous jersey? Okay, it's a matter of opinion. I shouldn't be saying that, but I know it's a matter of personal opinion, but in my opinion, this jersey is absolutely gorgeous. So of course it sold. Of course it was bloody popular. It was great. It was great as a third jersey. But the Oilers thought, oh, well, let's bring out a new orange design and switch to navy blue to sell more jerseys so that the fans that don't already have an orange jersey can now go and have more reason to buy an orange jersey, or for diehard Oilers fans to go buy another jersey. I mean, I respect the Oilers for keeping their classic design, their dynasty era jersey design, but it doesn't work here. The orange and blue touching, in my opinion, was a bad decision. They should have at least put navy blue on the cuffs of the arms. Or better yet, they should have done what the WHA throwback did and have the inside space between the white stripes on the arms and the waist solid blue. Solid navy blue here would look a lot better. And I'm sorry, I have disliked this jersey since the moment it came out as a home jersey. Now, if this was a third jersey, I'd be totally fine with it. But as for the away jersey, I still think it looks great even in navy blue and a brighter hue of orange. It's still, to me, is the classic Oilers white jersey, and that's a good thing. And it still looks great. But I still think the royal blue is vastly superior. And I will give the Oilers one compliment, though. They know how to use the Adidas Addy Crap collars properly. And yes, I called them Addy Crap because I think they suck. Now, as you can see, even the name and number font, the numbers are filled in without a white outline now, which I'm okay with. It still looks really good. But from a distance, the navy blue looks black. It looks like they're wearing orange and black a lot of times. And that's not a compliment. I mean, does the jersey design still, is it still at least traditional? Yeah. Is it the worst design in the world? Certainly not. But I still think it's not the proper Oilers color. They should be blue full-time. That should be their home jersey. If they want to do an orange alternate, I'm all for it. But look at this shot here. Does that navy blue not look black? That's something I find with their helmets too. A lot of times, more often than not, they look like they're wearing orange and black. And another thing too. See, to me, I've always seen the Oilers as Alberta's blue team and the Flames as Alberta's red team. So seeing the Oilers in orange, especially when they've gone their entire NHL history in some shade of blue as their main color, to me this is really not right. But hey, at least the away jersey still looks good, eh? And as for their new third jersey, I love the new inverted logo, but that's about it. The orange and navy on navy idea with no white is cool, but I just feel that jersey's really mediocre. It's not, to me, it's not a good jersey. Now, I will say this, though. I mean, look at this jersey right here, the royal blue one. And, oh yeah, let's give the Devils a quick shout-out because they should have never touched this design. This was perfect. I can't believe they changed to the crap they have now. Stupid. Totally brain dead. Just to sell some extra jerseys, I'm sure. Stupid. But this royal blue jersey with the orange, I don't care if it's the same color scheme as the New York Islanders. Their jerseys are significantly and drastically different from one another. This jersey was gorgeous, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I know it's a matter of opinion, but I don't believe for a second that this right here is better than that beautiful royal blue and orange jersey. They should have never changed from it, period. whatsoever. Jesus Murphy, what a stupid decision in my opinion. I was really hoping they would switch back to royal blue full-time this season, but no. They actually retired that jersey and brought out a new navy blue third jersey that's, in my opinion, completely mediocre. Anyway, end of my Oilers rant. Still, they should have never touched their jerseys. Their 80s uniforms that they went back to in 2011 were perfect. They should have never touched them again. But no, they had to go orange and navy blue. Just, in my opinion, it was a stupid choice. Now, as for the Kings, obviously they kept their design the same. I would have preferred if they would have had a solid gray collar on the home jersey and a solid black collar on the away jersey. This is another team that clearly needs to learn a thing or two about how to do a proper Adidas collar, which is not their fault because the collar design sucks. But in terms of this piping now, instead of it flowing nicely along the arm up to the collar like it did in the Reebok Edge era, thanks to the Addy Zero jersey cut, this piping here is like a car in a car chase in a Fast and Furious movie. It comes up to a point and goes ee! Up to a screeching halt, and then it goes straight across to that Pentagon collar insert. Sorry, folks, I don't like that about Adidas, and it isn't the Kings, just the Kings, that have this problem. It's also Columbus and Washington as well. Now, I agree with all people who say that the Kings should have finally added this arm striping around the waist of their home jersey, but of course they never did. But with the Kings slightly updating their logo to include an additional silver outline, and with the fact that they are going to put that logo on their home and away jerseys starting next season from what I've heard, hopefully the Kings are going to finally put some waist striping on the home jersey to match what they did with the away jersey. Now, I also could do without the piping, and I honestly think the Gretzky-era throwbacks are far superior, which they are coincidentally wearing for 2 games this season. And by that, I mean the white Gretzky throwback from the late 80s, 1990s. But here's the thing. I mean, the Kings jerseys, in my opinion, they could be worse, but these ones have never been my favorite. I still think they're better than the Reebok Edge jerseys that they replaced. But goodness me, they could have been way better. And I think that if they've won 2 Stanley Cups in black and silver, they should switch over to the Gretzky uniforms because, in my opinion, those are the best Kings jerseys in the black, white, silver color scheme that they've ever had. And in my opinion, it's not even close. Now, moving on to San Jose. I don't understand the Sharks. Let's keep a random burnt orange stripe on the top part of the striping on the arms. They should have at least put a matching burnt orange stripe on the bottom. If they would have just done that, this jersey would be actually kind of tolerable, even though I think it's half finished, boring, and needs to go. They should have added an extra burnt orange stripe here, and they should have put that same striping around the waist. Now, if they would have done that with their new third jersey, I actually would not mind it as a third jersey. But anyway, half finished collar. It should be solid black, in my opinion. And this new shoulder patch logo. It's a nice shoulder patch logo. I was actually hoping to see it as the logo of a new third jersey. Hopefully they will try one with this one at some point. Now, this shoulder patch on the away jersey I don't like. It should have been just this one with a teal outline. But look again. Random burnt orange stripe on the top part of the Sharks arm striping. These jerseys are still half finished and completely mediocre in my opinion. They couldn't have even at least put some waist striping on these or even taken that stupid burnt orange random striping off. They could have just went with black, teal, black and put that around the waist and these jerseys would be a little bit tolerable. But they're half finished. And the burnt orange stripe on the top part of the striping makes it look totally half finished where they just said, okay, this is good enough. We need to meet a deadline to me. That's what it looks like to me. But still, these Shark jerseys, they need to go. They really need to replace these jerseys ASAP as far as I'm concerned. Now, at least the Reebok collar before was better, but I will say this, I do feel the Sharks jerseys did get an upgrade with the new shoulder patches, especially on the home jersey. Now, moving on to Vancouver. I don't know about you viewers out there, but I've been a Canucks fan for a long, long time. In fact, my entire life. And I've never liked the Orca. I feel that it's time for the Orca to go. It should have been gone a long, long, long time ago. But they still insist on keeping it. Now, the away jersey by itself looks great. Without any logos, any number, letter fonts, or anything, the jersey design by itself looks great. The home jersey, it's simple, but it's not my favorite. I'm not going to lie. And the thing is, I was really hoping to see the Canucks finally either A, go with the stick and rink, B, go with something new with Johnny Canuck, or even C. At this point, I'd love to even see them go back to the skate full time. But I'm just so sick of the Orca. To me, it's not a good hockey logo at all. I mean, I'm glad they got rid of the stupid Vancouver word mark on it, but they should have changed the damn jerseys. They shouldn't have just gotten rid of the Orca's Vancouver word mark and changed the color of the stick and rink patch on the shoulders. But they didn't even get the collars right. They're half finished on both jerseys. They should have had a solid white collar for the home jersey and a solid blue collar for the away jersey. I mean, they could have at least changed the collars when they switched to their slightly updated new uniforms for this season, but they didn't. And the agency font for the letters and numbers is garbage too, in my opinion. They need to get rid of that. And unfortunately, the Canucks insisted on keeping everything basically the same. But I will say this, the Orca looks way better without the Vancouver word mark, even though I still don't like it. But still, Vancouver's 40th anniversary jersey, I think, is my favorite blue and green era Canucks jersey of all time. And if they went with that and a matching home jersey that actually matched exactly what the 40th anniversary 1970-71 season white jersey has, those would be some excellent uniforms right there for Vancouver. Now, moving on to the Golden Knights, finally. So, with the Golden Knights, here's what I've got to say about them. For a brand spanking new franchise, they, in my opinion, have done a really good job. I tip my hat to them for keeping their uniforms relatively traditional and at the same time introducing a brand new primary color that nobody else has ever used before, steel gray. I think the Golden Knights, even though their uniforms are not my absolute favorite in the world, I will say this. They did a great job. They introduced a brand new primary color in steel gray, and as far as I'm concerned, they did a really great job. Now, as for that gold there, that's my favorite part of the Golden Knights' new uniforms. Well, they are new, but the whole franchise is new, for Christ's sake. But you know what? That hue of gold is gorgeous, and I cannot wait for the Golden Knights to bring out a third jersey that's using that hue of gold. And that embroidery there, that's amazing as well. That's something about Adidas that I have really thought, I've always felt has been really impressive, is the fact that teams have been able to do new little embroidery patterns on the striping of their jerseys now, which is pretty cool. And the logo has a little bit of bonus embroidery as well. As you can see there, of I believe the state's flower, which is really cool. Now, I'm not a big lover of the dark gray being the primary color. I'm hoping that one day the Golden Knights home jersey will actually be this hue of gold and not gray. But in terms of the creativity, you got to give them massive credit for the fact that they really did a wonderful job of bringing something new to the NHL in terms of jersey choices and jersey colors and jersey identities. But the collar here, why was this not a solid black collar? That would have been an excellent additional contrast to a really good jersey that has got really good contrast. And the same with the away jersey. A solid steel gray collar would have been really good here too. But I will say this though. The home jersey to me is really good for what it is, being something new. But I would gladly give up these jerseys for home and away jerseys that make primary use of that beautiful, gorgeous hue of gold. But I will say this though. For a modern uniform, they kept it traditional. They brought something new to the table with steel gray, and I think they should be commended for it 100%. But I will say this, though. There is a pet peeve that I do have about the Golden Knights away uniform. See how the only black element on the uniform is the pants. In my opinion, the Golden Knights seriously need to go with steel gray pant shells to wear with their away uniform. That way it would all look consistent, and I think it would look a hell of a lot better than the black pants, because in my opinion, they stick out like a sore thumb, and it's not in a good way. Now, if I had my way, I think the best way to do this would be to take all of the dark gray elements on the Golden Knights away jersey and make it black. But even though I think that would look better, here's the problem though. The Golden Knights would no longer have a unique look going for them. I mean, it would look better, but the thing with the steel gray is that it gives the Golden Knights something unique that nobody else has. And that's something that I really respect about the Golden Knights away jersey and the decision they made to make it steel gray heavy instead of just another team that utilizes black instead. So they did something new going with the dark gray instead of playing it safe with black. But they should seriously go with steel gray pant shells instead of the black ones, or wear those over top of their black pants, and of course keep the black pants for their home uniform. Thankfully, they only kept the white gloves for the away jerseys, which I actually don't mind, but I would prefer it if they went with these black and gold gloves on the road as well. But you look at their home jersey. I think that they really did a great job with it. The black on the steel gray looks great. The gold and red accents are exceptional here. And for a modern uniform, even though this little part of the jersey fabric here looks a little off in terms of color, that's been a pet peeve of mine, still, their uniforms look great. And I really do feel 100% that they should be commended for what they've done with their new uniforms. But I would gladly give these up for a gold jersey utilizing this gorgeous hue of gold, and I can't wait to see a gold third jersey for the Golden Knights. They are the Golden Knights, and I think they should have a gold jersey. And it should be a gold home jersey. And this, to me, would be a perfect third jersey. Now, in the past, I said that I thought it would be really cool if they went with black numbers like the BC Lions gunmetal alternate jersey from 2013 and 2014. But in this case here, I feel that the white actually, I'm convinced now that I think the white actually works better than black. And it works better in terms of contrast as well. But anyways, you guys, this is it for part 1. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will be back in my next video to cover the Central Division. On that note, folks, take care, and of course, as always, you guys, bye for now. And since it is Christmas Eve as I'm filming this, just in case I don't do another video between now and Christmas, have a great Christmas and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you. With that, take care, and of course, as always, you guys, bye for now.